Setting up YouTube. Redirecting to YouTube.
Being live streamed.
Yeah.
Is it being recorded?
Yes. Okay. Now let me start the recording. Yeah, hang on. Resume recording. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we're recording and just to be sure, yeah. So we're good to go, John.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I called the Guam Board of Accountancy board meeting to order, the November meeting. But before we begin, just want to confirm, Dave, that the meeting has been properly noticed and that we are okay and everything, every action we take is valid. Okay.
Yep.
Looks like.
Both notices went out, so we're good.
Okay, so the first item on the agenda, of course, is the last meeting's minutes. I think it's been there. I mean, I reviewed it. I didn't see any issues. So if there are no issues, if everyone has had time to look at it, can we entertain a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
I second.
Second. Okay. Last month's meetings minutes are approved, and we'll move on to the next item, which is old business. Dave, do you want to just jump into old business?
Yeah, it's Guam Accountancy Endowment Fund. The crazy thing right now, we're showing as of 11/14 a balance of 4.526 million. As of the end of October, we were 4.292 million, and all of that's purely market swing. And $11,000, a little more than 11,000 in fees that were taken for the quarter. So that's the last fees for the year. So we're at 45,000 for fees, but that just kind of exemplifies the fact of the way the market's swinging.
Yes.
If we can go from 4.29 to 4.52 in 2 weeks, and it's probably going to go back down and up again. So, but so far, this, to my knowledge, does not include the 400,000 we just contributed. So that should put us over the top of the 5 million mark.
Okay.
If the market stays up a little.
It doesn't include. Good.
No, not that I could determine. I checked the statements. I checked for latest transactions, and there weren't any. So I think they still have the
line
check
for contributions. I didn't see anything there.
Mm-hmm. Say again, Sean.
Yeah, there was in the previous page, there was a line for contributions, and I didn't see anything in that line.
Right. Yeah, in here. Yeah. So I don't think they've actually processed the check yet. So, but we're looking at a year-to-date 2.7% value increase overall for the October statement. if we look at, I'll go down to the September statement. If you look at September where they do the quarterly analysis, then they give us a year to date of 5.5, but the annualized since inception was 5.08. So we're only a point under our target for the 20 years on our investment plan. So
Okay.
I'd say we're not doing too bad in that regard. Otherwise, there's still only realized gains. We still have no realized losses. So at 4.5 million, we're not doing too bad. I don't know, John, if the advisory committee actually met. Did you have any feedback?
Sorry,
about
yes. No, they did meet, but I was actually off island and wasn't able to attend. I did talk a
Okay.
little to Dr. Jones, but I didn't have enough information. I think I'll get an update soon and let you know if there's anything significant for, I guess, for the board.
Okay. Today I got an email from the board got an email from Dr. Jones asking about arranging a visit to the test center for a company that they're I guess courting to do some type of business with out of Japan. It's called CPA Excellent Partners or something like that. Anyway, they emailed asking about setting up an appointment to visit the test center. So I sent it along to Randy and told him to contact him. But I also asked Pat at NASBA if she'd heard of the company they're talking to. And she said yes, that same company, the people there had actually come to Nashville to visit NASBA, and that they seem to be very above board. They're very interested in being sure they comply with the board requirements and in getting their candidates licensed. So,
good.
That was a good thing. So I think whatever Dr. Jones and Martha are planning is maybe a good thing. Maybe we'll see some improvement along the way in the near future.
Okay. Oh, Dave, just for the board's benefit, there was that reception held for Dr. Anita Enriquez, for her for being the new president for the University of Guam. And so I think Francis was there, I was there, Sean, and Dave was there, and it was a surprise recognition to the board. So I was surprised, right? They walked in and they said they're going to recognize an entity that donated 400,000. I said, that's us. And, so they called us up to the front and taking a picture, and I was like surprised. So it was interesting. It was nice to be recognized, but I saw the picture. It was good.
They took a nice picture.
Yeah.
So I'll use it in the citizen-centric report.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I was surprised too. They didn't tell us. I asked them, why didn't you tell us? They said they were afraid if they told us we wouldn't come. So
it wouldn't come. Yeah, I was wondering, like, what other entity actually donated that much?
Yeah. Well, I think Katrina also wanted to use us to kind of browbeat the rest of them into doing something. So.
Yeah, they're saying, "Hey, look at this." Yeah.
If the stick in the mud CPAs can do this, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, I did. I know a lot of them there, right? But when we're together, I hear the word, "Oh, there's the accountants." They refer to us as the accountants, which is not too bad.
Better than it used to be.
You're right. It's the stigma.
Yeah. Thank God they don't call us the green armbands anymore.
The green armbands. Okay.
Yeah, but it was nice. But I also did. I met 3 different people at the AICPA and NASBA meetings that I attended in the States that are teaching at various universities around the States. And I've got their contact information. I need to contact them, but there were 3 of them that were interested in participating in our visiting
Okay.
professor program. Of course, when I first bring it up, they're all interested if we say we'll bring them to Guam, right? So
Then they
I
do their
think
research and they're like, okay,
yeah, and then they're not so sure. But at first, I think they think, oh, that would be a great vacation, but they don't know how much we're going to put them to work. So, but yeah, I did meet some interesting candidates for the professor program. I mentioned to Martha the last time I saw her because I went and gave a presentation to the Junior Accounting Society about the new exam last week. And Jason had asked me to come to one of their meetings and do a presentation, so I did that. Martha was there. So anyway, well, I think hopefully with the new dean and now the new president installed, we should be able to make some progress.
Mhm.
So yeah. Anybody got any questions? Otherwise, we're good.
Let's go. We're good. Let's go to
Okay.
the next. The next item is the applications for initial certification and license to practice. I think we, like Dave said, we have quite a number.
94, I think, and 2 are for Guam. One, John, I think, works for you still.
Yes, he's still Kenny
Yeah.
is his nickname. He's in our audit.
Kenny? Okay.
Kenny, yeah, that's how he goes by, Kenny. Okay.
Okay.
But sorry, Dave, what does that mean? He graduated from USCA, but he also went to UOG. I'm assuming that's what that means. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. When it's listed like that, typically it just means that they attended one or the other institutions. There are a lot of people that go to 2 or even some 3 institutions. So
Okay. So he did go to both UOG and then eventually to USC. Okay.
right. Yeah. So we have a bunch of people, even from the Cayman Islands, believe it or not. So in Qatar, I didn't, Jordan, all over the place. And I think a few of them have joined us as attendees to this meeting so they can see if they're listed on here. But
Sure. Okay.
I believe we have 94 candidates for licensure that were approved, we're basically approving here. There's one more from Guam, but India, California, Georgia. I could also say that we're beginning to get emails from licensees out of New Hampshire, the international licensees from New Hampshire, because New Hampshire implemented a social security number requirement. And these are the people who don't have a social security number, but they're just working there. So, and they were licensed in New Hampshire previously. They're coming to us to get reciprocal licenses so they can continue to be licensed as a Guam CPA without the social security number. Here's Miss, I'm not sure how you pronounce her name. She works for Weston.
Weston, yes.
Yeah. Sue?
I don't know. And
Oh,
sadly,
yeah.
I communicate with her, but I don't.
Arado would know.
Only email. So I think
Yeah.
it's Z or
Sue, Z?
Z. I could be wrong.
Not sure. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's good.
But yeah, she's still working for Weston now. So
Yes.
I guess Arada's one approving there.
Mhm.
So then there's more Thailand. And then here's where we start with the initial certificate. They're still active, a lot of non-attests. There aren't a lot of people who want to test anymore. And then we start here at 67 with the initial certificate inactive, which meaning they've passed the exam and their education's complete, so they just need experience. So 72, 80.
So we have a lot from all over: China, India,
Everywhere.
Taiwan, Japan.
Japanese. Japanese, and a lot of the Japanese that when you see the California state from East Bay, those
East Bay.
are typically the Abatus candidates, because they have an affiliation with East California State, East Bay.
Hmm.
Okay, so 94 licensees, new licensees. All we need is a motion to approve.
Okay, so it looks like they're all recommended for approval, no issues.
No
Can I hear
issues.
motion to approve the applications for certification and license to practice?
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Second by Jenny. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, all
Thank
approved.
you. Okay, so all of our attendees should be happy.
So next are
Okay.
the new business,
Yeah,
the NGS credit extensions. Okay.
yeah, these are the extensions. What I decided was that we don't need to put all of the details in the file for the meeting, the agenda for the meeting. These are what we're going to do in the future is just show a listing of the people we're actually approving extensions for. And the only ones we're really approving extensions for, number one, are people who actually ask and submit documentation to support their issue, whether it's a medical condition or what. So this way, I don't think we have to worry about any privacy issues. But we approved most of these people because they had either medical issue or hardship issues, meaning you know, somebody in the family needed attention that they couldn't get away from. They had to commit to. And most
Okay.
of them are extensions for a few months. We have had a couple of people come along in the last week, and they might have passed BEC like sometime late last year, or the credit's going to expire earlier this year, and they still have one part left to pass. So we've decided that you know, based on the CBT admin committee recommendation, those people who are 1 or 2 months away from being the people who would have automatically be extended to June 30th, 2025, because they tested sometime in July 22. Those are the people I think that we're going to go ahead and extend the credit for their BEC section so that they don't wind up losing it completely and having to take a discipline instead. And I don't see any issues with that because most of the other people that tested 18 months ago are going to get extended another 18 months automatically as of January 1st, 2024. So, but we've only had a couple of those requests. So, but these 4 people were extending basically to the end of this year or into the early part of next year, mostly because they have typically one section left to go. And, you know, as everybody says, we're trying to make new CPAs. So,
So Dave, just on that, I guess the suggestion by, was it NASBA or ICPA to provide how many months?
well, the CBT admin committee came up with a recommendation that anybody who with an active credit as of December 31st, 2023 or January 1st, 2024 would automatically be extended to June 30, 2025, 18 months. And that's because anybody taking the new exam, for instance, if you take it in January, you're not going to get a score until probably May. If you're lucky, April, but probably May. So with a 5-month score hold, you're gonna not have very many opportunities, like you would normally with a 3-week score release. So that was the reason for that automatic extension.
Okay.
And then the NASBA board got together and decided to, everybody decided to do the 30-month thing. And the recommendation of the committee at that point was to extend people through June 30th, 2025, and hopefully by then all jurisdictions will be able to have enacted a 30-month period for credit to be valid by the time June 30th, 2025 rolls around, because some jurisdictions can do a rule change in 2 to 3 months. Some of them have it in their law that's going to take a year or a year and a half, maybe 2 years to get done. So that was hoping that would cover that. And then AICPA and NASBA both got together and decided to support what they call the Credit Relief Initiative, which was formerly addressed as amnesty. And that's where you just automatically grant anybody who had a credit as of March 2020, automatically extend all their credits through June 30th, 2025. And we did not elect to participate in that initiative, simply because through COVID, we extended everybody through the end of 2022, everybody who asked. And we didn't see any need to go back and revisit extending all those again, especially for people we haven't heard from in the last 2 to 3 years. So what we've come to find out is that a number of boards that elected to participate, approximately 90% of their candidates that are getting the credit relief, having that credit extended, actually only had credit for one part of the exam. Most of them 1 or 2 parts at the most. So they kind of dropped out along the way, and you haven't heard from them in 2 to 3 years. It's not likely that they're going to pick it up again just because you reinstated their credit. By now, they've probably moved on to something else, or with all of the information that's been out for the last year, they would, if they were interested, I think they would have at least contacted the board to find out if there was anything they could do. So that's kind of why we've adopted the policy that we will consider any request that's made. But if you're not going to take the initiative to make a request, then we don't think that it's in our interest to just automatically grant credit relief.
Okay. But I guess when we revise our rules, we're going to adopt the 30-month, right? For our
Correct.
They pass, they have 30 months from the date they get their scores, so the date of their score release, to pass the remaining parts, right? Okay.
Right. Yeah. So essentially extending people at this point that are asking, if we extend them even through June 30th, 2025, most of them are falling into that range of the 30-month thing window for total passing anyway. So
Okay.
For our candidates, it's not that big of an issue. So and we've been considering anybody who asks. So, and we do have maybe 1 or 2 a week that are starting to ask. But at this point, these are the 4 that we've approved at this point for the last since the last meeting. So,
yeah, I mean, none of these. None of these are that long anyway. I mean, it's already November 16, and the latest here is January 31st. So,
right, yeah,
they should be passing.
Typically, most of our candidates are asking for three months. Sometimes they ask for 6 months. So they have enough time to get registered in a window. And now going into the new exam, they might ask for a little longer because of the score holes they're going to face. But in the future for the meeting, I'm just going to present the list of the people we're actually approving extensions for. So it's
Okay.
documented. Okay.
Okay, good. So if there are no issues, I think these are approved. We don't need to take a vote, right? So
That's right. Okay.
okay, good.
Oh,
I think this
Yeah,
leads
move
us
on.
to the next item, which is you said the change, I guess
Yeah.
the changes. So this is
the UAA model rule change, right? It's put out for 60-day comment as of October, the end of October, so it goes through the end of December. So, but basically the rule change is to incorporate additional documents and objective information to the rules 7, 4, and 5 related to the AICPA's facilitated state board access, FSBA. Essentially what the facilitated state board access is it's a website basically that allows us, the board staff, to go to the website and call up the peer-reviewed documents for the firms that in our jurisdiction that are required to be peer-reviewed because they're doing audits or providing a test services. And we've never had an issue with this because, of course, there's only 2 firms now that are doing test services, and there were 3, but and none of our firms ever had an issue with our accessing the peer review information. So, but a number of jurisdictions have a back and forth relationship between the AICPA and the board and the peer review issues, and did we pass, did we fail, et cetera, et cetera. So
okay.
I think we've all been through this story before. So these rule changes basically just require the firms to submit documents and information to the board and allow the administering entity to provide the board access to the documents via the secure website process such as FSBA. And the rule for us accessing FSBA is that it's a secure, confidential site. We are allowed to access the documents under the agreement, confidentiality agreement that says we won't, release it publicly and that kind of thing. So that's basically what's happening. And the meat of the changes are just some language relative to dates and rule references. And then they put in a list of the documents that wasn't there before. Before it just said documents and peer-reviewed documents, and now they're actually listing when they would be due, date of the most current enrollment or re-enrollment, or the firm representation of the administering entity that it was not performed any engagement subject to peer review, or when the due date of the current peer review is identified and the due date on any corrective action, or the date of the peer review or corrective action extension letter, or et cetera, et cetera. So they're basically just listing the documents. So bottom line is it doesn't change any of the actual requirements relative to peer review other than enumerating the documents and the dates when they're due, and the fact that the firm should provide them to the board through the facilitated state board access for the AICPA.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bottom line. So I don't know if
I got a
anybody
question. Who serves as the administrating entity for
for Guam, the administrating entity is the Oregon Society of CPAs. Oregon has been doing our peer reviews for quite a while now, I guess. And they have also, I guess they have enough peer reviewers that they've taken on a few other states or a few other jurisdictions also is. So Oregon's the administering entity for 2 or 3 different jurisdictions besides Guam.
yeah.
So
But Dave, how does this work? I mean, the Guam board doesn't designate which entity, right? I mean, basically, it's the firms that go out and find a peer reviewer, right? It just so happens to be they're connected with Oregon.
well, yes and no. You're as a firm, you're entitled to basically find your own peer reviewer. But the society, I guess, through the Guam Society of CPAs and the board, I guess, the agreement was to have the Oregon Society be the administering entity through the AICPA program that allows that. The AICPA is the overriding administrative entity, and they handle all the the PCAOB and SEC type audits, peer reviews. And then under the AICPA program, that allowed us to choose another society as the administering entity, since we don't have we don't do it ourselves. So the Guam Society can't do it.
Yeah.
So it was just functional.
There are only how many firms on Guam that need peer review? There's just, I'm assuming now you mentioned there's a third one, right?
At this point, 3, yeah.
Okay.
And the third one is a younger firm who's just this year done his first audit. So, and he did call and ask about signing up for peer review, et cetera, enrolling. So we directed him to the people in Oregon to get signed up with them as the administrator.
So just in our experience, my experience now is that because there's a reduced number of firms participating in the peer review program. I mean, sorry, as peer reviewers, it's not that easy now to find. So you have to reserve early and find and get the commitments.
More and more difficult for sure. And one of the comments that I picked up on at the ICPA council meeting was that because of the PCAOB's nitpickiness relative to their reviews and their comments about the peer reviewers themselves, a lot of them have just quit and basically said, we will not peer review any PCAOB audit. So anybody who requires a PCAOB audit is going to have a heck of a time finding a peer reviewer because the PCAOB has just made it so difficult on the peer reviewers themselves that they don't want to do it anymore. And then a lot of them have just quit. So, so anybody who's subject to a PCAOB audit is going to have a hard time getting a peer review. Anyway, that's just some of the gossip I picked up at the council meeting, but they said it's becoming a real problem in the States. Because there's just it's not that there's no firms are doing peer review, but the actual individual peer reviewers just don't want to do it. They refuse to do it. So, c'est la vie, right?
Yep.
Anyway, unless anybody has any questions on the UAA rule change, I think we're okay. I couldn't come up with any comments that I thought we'd want to make about it. I don't think we have enough issues with peer review to make any real substantive comments. We don't have a lot of the same issues the other jurisdictions do.
Okay, that's good. I mean, no comments. So what's next? The candidate care quarterly report?
Yep. And most of the issues are candidate error, environment problems, and site issues. And If we look at candidate error, that includes failing to bring your notice to schedule to the test center, providing an incorrect notice to schedule, issues with your name on the roster, the NTS doesn't match your ID, hitting the submit button prematurely and timing out on the introductory screen of the exam. None of that's changed. It just continues to be a problem for candidates who don't pay attention to details. So the environmental issue, though, is complaints they receive about test center room temperatures, construction noise, power failures, fire drills. I can't imagine having a fire drill during a testing center, but out of the candidate's control, right?
Yeah,
And then
okay.
the last one was the site issues, which are candidates complaining about where they're seated in the testing room or the check-in process, and et cetera, et cetera. So,
Dave, do they have information by testing center? I mean, so if we were to, what are the comments for the Guam testing center? I mean, is that even available?
it's available if we wanted to get it, but I'm sure Randy gets it all the time. But the latest comment that I heard from the Guam testing center about the Guam testing center was that they're always voted in one of the top testing centers in the nation. So
For number of, I mean, just in general by
just
candidate
in
preference?
general, in terms of candidate
Feedback?
preference, candidate satisfaction, et cetera, et cetera. So
Yeah.
Randy does a good job, I guess. So I haven't heard any complaints whatsoever about our test center. The only complaint I have about it is that we need more people testing.
Yeah. No, we don't have that many CPAs or CPA candidates testing anymore.
Yeah, not enough anyway.
I think has the board all seen? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Sean or Jenny has seen the testing center.
I have.
You have,
No, I
right?
Jenny
haven't.
has. Sean, have you ever been there?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. Okay, then maybe we can set up a time if you wanna go visit.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe we'll ask Randy to host another meeting.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's what happened. He hosted a meeting. We met
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Uh,
He showed us around, then we had our meeting there. So, last thing I wanted to say here was this items for the quarter was that on this week in August, client services implemented a system migration to prepare for CPA evolution and launched the new exam. At this time, the national candidate database was unavailable. I mean, it was only down for a week, and they posted all the information on the website and everybody knew, but still the candidates were, I can't get to my stuff. I can't see my thing. Where's my notice? And of course, every time they went to the site, they saw the notice that they've probably seen 2 times before and didn't pay attention to until it mattered. So, but that was the only real issue for the quarter. In that sense, it's not an issue. Okay, the last thing I have is the financial statements. So we did the end of the year, we wound up actually doing pretty decent. These are the actual numbers. We got the actual information from NASBA a little more timely. So we wound up the year with an ending balance of 946,000. Even that's after making our contribution of 400,000. We had a $72,000 deficit because of the 400,000 contribution, which essentially means that we earned 328,000 of our contribution during the year. So we didn't do too bad. We did do much better than we expected, especially considering the new exam coming up. The thing that really spiked was applications. I was amazed that we basically went this line is the applicants here. So we went from basically 700 to 850 to 900 to almost 18, almost 1800, 1700 applicants. And probably 80% of those are BEC applicants because they want to get it before it goes away. So we don't know where this is going to drop down to in October, but I was just really surprised that we had the same, basically the same number of applicants, and our sections went up from 1,000, 1140, 1150 to the 1,700 also. So basically, we were at this point on a one-for-one basis, applicants for sections to test. But that drove a big increase in our final revenue number for applications. As you can see, we've been running the 90, 125, 140. We'd budgeted 125 because I thought the new exam would kill some of this, but we wound up almost doubling our budgeted revenue for applications, which is 80,000 ahead, 85,000 ahead of, or 95,000 ahead of where we were last year. So it definitely added, and I'm continued to be surprised even through COVID how our individual renewal license renewals continue to grow. So we've gone from the almost 30,000 a year. We're growing 20 to 30,000 a year. So in renewal fees. So no complaints there. Expenditure wise, we're always on track there. I don't think that's a real issue. And then for October, we still didn't do too bad. These are estimated numbers. I don't have actual numbers yet. It's too early in the month. But I'm estimating the 25,000 based on our, I did a moving average for the last 6 months, considering the jump we had in applicants. And then the same thing with the test center fees. I was surprised that we actually had, I think, for the month of September, there were 99 sections of the CPA exam given out of 61 or 62 candidates. So it's picking up. The one thing I can say about the test center, we'll definitely probably earn more than we budgeted, but at the endowment function the other night, I was talking with Jerry Perez about how we can get Chinese back to the test center. It's our biggest market potential at this point. Is the mainland Chinese, Mongolia, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. And he's basically saying that the issue at this point is basically seats, airline seats. Taiwan still has no scheduled daily service. It's all charter flights. And trying to get flights through from mainland China, et cetera, is going to be difficult given all the current conflict going on at this point. We don't know when that'll happen, but that tends to be our biggest potential market because the Koreans are testing in Korea and the Japanese, of course, are testing in Japan. And the Chinese, the Taiwanese, Hong Kong, mainland Chinese, Mongolians, they're all capable of testing in Japan or Korea if they can get a visa to do so. But I think in some ways it's easier for them to get the visa to come to Guam to test, but then of course they can't get flights. So the real issue is the accessibility of seats to get here. And Jerry wasn't real sure from his GVB connections at this point. he wasn't real sure when that might let up. Hopefully within the next year, but there's no guarantees at this point. So that's still going to be an issue for our test center. Although NASBA did tell me, Pat told me that because the Korean test center is so small, it's only about 30 seats. All of the people in Korea that are complaining about not being able to schedule the test, NASBA's telling them to go to Guam. So,
Yeah.
so
But Dave,
maybe that.
ours is only 25 seats, right? 25?
No, we got 30 something seats too.
30 some?
Uh,
Okay.
Yeah, there was one time 34 or 36 seats, but they're just telling them, you know, there's seats in Guam, so fly to Guam, and Korea has that air access, so
Yeah.
maybe that's where some of the 99 came from. So I know Randy pushes it every chance he gets. So,
Yep.
so unless anybody has any questions about the financials. That's basically all I have. I think we'll do fine. I don't know if you saw the notation about the budget, but I don't know where this 692,548 came from, but that is the appropriated amount for our budget in the 2024 budget bill that lapsed into law. We called, I asked Jessica to call the Senator Joe's office, and she called, and they told her that the lady that has the details on the notes for the amounts was not in. Hopefully we'll hear from her in the next day or so, or next week. But I can't relate that number to anything we submitted or anything we proposed. So I took everything that we proposed, and the difference is the 189,892, and I just put it here as a lump sum amount. So
that's what I was going to say. I mean, whatever shortfall, it'll just affect our contribution.
Yeah. So all of these numbers are the numbers that we proposed in our budget, as is the revenue numbers. So I just took the difference between the appropriation and everything we proposed as budget and chunked it in here into the contribution line until we find out where they came up with the numbers.
Okay.
Okay.
Did we
So,
propose a contribution in what we submitted?
No, I did not. Yeah. So, because I knew we were making the 400, and that's the last of our TCDs, and we don't know where this year's going to wind up in terms of the new exam. And you know, if you take it in January, you get a score in May, that means you've got 4 months of people just sitting, waiting, not taking the exam because they can't test until they get the score. So on that section, they could take other sections, but I think that's going to put a damper on our revenues for the FY24 in total. Just don't know how much. Of course, the possibility exists if the new exam gets enough volume in terms of sections taken, that it gives the psychometricians enough data to actually do their analysis with. It could happen faster, but their estimate is that that's unlikely. So that's kind of where I went with that. So.
Hey, Dave, when was the deadline to sign up for the old exam? Was that sometime this month?
Yes, it's expired. I think it was November the 12th or something like that. And
Okay.
the last day to test is going to be like December the 15th. They won't give any more exams after the 15th or 14th of December.
I see.
They need that window to cut everything over to the new system.
Yeah.
And then now you can actually you can actually, as of November 22nd or 24, I might be wrong on that. You can actually start signing up for the new exam to test in January as
Wow.
of, late November, so mid to late November. You can start getting NTSs for the new exam in January. So maybe by the late December, middle of December, we might have some idea how many people are actually going to sign up for the new exam. And I might also note that the fees are going to go up for the new exam, but they only go up about $20 per section in total. So it doesn't go up very much from what it is right now. So I don't think the fee will be an issue at all. I think it's strictly just being prepared to take the new exam.
So those that sign up for the old exam that don't end up not taking it before the December 15th, then that's just lost then. I mean, they're not gonna be able to take the new exam on the old fees.
I don't know if they're going to. I think that the NTSs are just going to expire. I think you'd have to have a pretty good reason for not showing up or not being able to take it, and you may be able to try and reschedule to take the new exam, but yeah, you'd still face the issue with the fees. So.
Yeah, but that's good. That means that the exam fees are one and done after the
Yeah,
15th, I guess. Okay, understood.
yeah, pretty much. So, okay. Anybody have any other questions?
No, I think this is good.
Okay, if not, that's basically all I have at this point.
That's good. Thanks, Dave. We're meeting next month, right?
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah. I think we're set. Next month, the meeting should be on the 21st. I'm presuming everybody will be in town or around or available. So,
I'll be in town.
okay.
Okay. Can I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Seconded.
Second by Jenny.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, meeting adjourned.
Thank you, everybody. Let me stop the recording.
Okay, if I don't see you, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.